For as long as anyone could
Ethan.
remember,
The crowd
the old
moved
Blackwood
slowly,
station had been
but they
abandoned.
continued advancing.
The buildings stood at
Step
the edge
after
of
step.
town. Their faces
Surrounded by
remained
weeds and
expressionless.
rusted fences.
The conductor waited
The tracks that
patiently
once
beside
connected
the
it to
open
the
train
outside
door,
world had
as
been
though he already
removed
knew how the
decades
night
ago.
would end.
No trains
Ethan
had
passed
passed
through
away.
Blackwood
The
Station
ticket felt
in over 50
strangely
years.
warm in his hand.
At least,
Then
that
he
was the
noticed
official
writing
story.
appearing on its
Locals
surface.
whispered about
Words
something
that
different.
hadn't been there before.
According to the legend,
Final boarding
the train
call.
arrived
The
every
elderly
night
man
at
grabbed
exactly
Ethan's arm.
2:22
You still have a
a.m.
chance.
The strange
What do I
part
do?
wasn't the train
The
itself.
old man pointed
It was the
toward
fact
the ticket.
that there were no tracks.
Give it back.
Most
The
people
passengers
dismissed
drew
the tale as
closer.
nonsense.
The fog swirled
Ethan
around
Walker
them.
didn't.
Their
As
shapes
a
seemed
journalist
less
who
human now.
investigated
More like
strange
shadows
stories,
wearing human
Ethan had
faces.
heard countless
Ethan
urban
rushed
legends.
toward the conductor.
Most turned out to
The
be
train whistle
exaggerations.
echoed again.
But something
Louder,
about Blackwood
more
Station
urgent.
felt different.
The conductor
Too many
extended
people
his hand.
described the same
Without
details.
hesitation,
The same
Ethan
time,
shoved the
same
ticket
train.
into it.
The
For the
same
first
warning.
time,
Never
the
accept
conductor
a ticket.
reacted.
His
His expression
expression
darkened.
autumn evening. The lights
Ethan
inside
drove
the train
to the
flickered.
abandoned
A
station.
deep rumble
Fog covered the
echoed
countryside.
through the station.
The moon
The silent
barely shone
passengers
through the
stopped
clouds.
moving.
The
The
old
fog
building
began
looked
pulling
even more
backward
eerie
toward
than
the
the
locomotive,
photographs he had
as though
seen
the train
online.
itself was
At
breathing
2
in.
a.m., he
Then the
entered the
doors
station.
slammed shut.
The waiting room
The
was
conductor
empty.
stepped aboard.
Broken benches
The whistle
lined the
sounded
walls.
one final time.
Dust covered everything.
The impossible
The
train
silence
slowly
felt
moved
unnatural,
away,
as if
gliding
the
across
entire
the empty
world was
ground.
holding its breath.
Returning to the
2:15
darkness from
a.m.
which it had come.
Nothing happened.
Within seconds, it
2:18
disappeared
a.m.
completely.
Still nothing.
The fog vanished.
Ethan began questioning
the station
why he
became
had come.
silent once
Then the
more.
temperature suddenly
Everything
dropped.
looked normal.
A
As
freezing
if
wind
nothing had
swept
happened.
through the station.
The next morning,
the
Ethan
fog
searched
outside
for
thickened.
answers.
The
Old
dark
newspaper
became
archives
almost
revealed
solid.
dozens
At
of
exactly
mysterious
2:22
disappearances
a.m.,
connected to
a
Blackwood
distant
Station.
whistle echoed
Every
through the
victim had
night.
vanished
Ethan
after
froze.
visiting the
The
abandoned
sound was
platform at night.
unmistakable.
None
A
were
train
ever
whistled.
found.
Slowly
Yet in
he
nearly
walked toward the
every
platform.
case,
His heart
witnesses
pounded.
reported
The
seeing
fog
a
shifted,
strange train
and
in the
something
fog.
emerged
A
from the
train that
darkness.
shouldn't exist.
A train.
Years
An
later,
enormous
Ethan
black
still refuses
locomotive.
to speak
Moving
publicly about what
silently
happened
through the mist.
But he keeps
But
one
there were no
object
tracks
locked
beneath
inside
it.
a safe.
The train
A
seemed to
photograph
glide
taken
through
that
the
night.
air itself.
In the picture,
Its windows
the train
glowed with
stands
pale
beside
yellow
the
light.
platform.
Its metal body
Invisible
looked
through one
ancient.
of the windows,
older
sits
than
a
any
passenger.
train Ethan
A passenger
had ever
who
seen.
looks exactly
The
like
impossible
Ethan,
locomotive
staring
slowed,
directly at
then
the
stopped
camera,
directly in
waiting
front
for
of
the next
station.
train to
The
arrive.
doors
At
slowly opened,
2:22 a.m.
and every passenger inside turned to look at him. Ethan couldn't move. Dozens of faces stared from the windows. Men, women, children, passengers from different eras. Some wore modern clothes. Others looked as though they had stepped out of another century. Yet every face shared the same expression. Absolute silence. No smiles. No anger. No emotion at all. Then a figure stepped from the train. A conductor. Tall. Thin. Dressed in a dark uniform. His face appeared unusually pale beneath the station lights. Without saying a word, he approached Ethan. The conductor extended a single ticket. Ethan remembered the warning. Never accept a ticket. Yet curiosity won. Slowly he took it. The conductor nodded, then returned toward the train. Ethan looked down at the ticket. His hands immediately began shaking. Printed across the paper were several words. One way. Below them appeared his name. Ethan Walker, and beneath that, departure. Tonight his stomach tightened. Suddenly the station around him seemed quieter than before. Too quiet. Then he noticed something else. The passengers were no longer looking through the windows. Every seat appeared empty. Confused, Ethan glanced around. A cold chill ran through his body. The passengers now stood on the platform. Surrounding him, dozens of silent figures. Watching. Their eyes reflected the pale station lights. Nobody spoke. Nobody moved. Then Ethan noticed an elderly man standing nearby. Unlike the others, he seemed frightened. The old man leaned closer. You shouldn't have taken the ticket. Ethan swallowed hard. What is this train? The man's face turned pale. It doesn't carry passengers. His voice trembled. It collects them. Suddenly, the conductor blew his whistle. The train doors opened wider, and the silent crowd began walking toward Ethan.